Let me talk a little bit about what I think schizophrenia is. And what's going on. Basically, schizophrenia is a move by a wounded psyche to heal itself. It's a move by a person who has been hurt, discounted, put down, not affirmed, in some cases abused physically, verbally, emotionally. And what is happening is this person is finding a way to protect him or herself, to avoid pain, to feel more adequate, to feel more powerful, to be able to survive. It's a move to survive in the world, in a toxic world, with toxic human beings. So there's a woman named Alice Miller who's a psychologist, and here's the way she put it. If you want to create a mentally ill person, you only have to do two things. First, don't let them be who they are. First, don't let them be who they are. And then when they get angry about it, don't let them be angry. You do those two things, and you're going to create a mentally ill person. So, I think this is what schizophrenia is. Now, there's a man named John Weir Perry, who was a psychologist. He was working in the 1950s. He spent a lot of time with people diagnosed with schizophrenia. He got to know them very well. And here is what he believed. He believed that what happens is a person has been hurt and has lost something very valuable, is very terrified about living in the world. Terrified. Doesn't believe that he or she can live in this world in a satisfying, effective way. And so what happens is the psyche goes into a deeper part of the human being and connects. The psyche connects with a deeper part of the psyche that is powerful. And that is powerful, and that will be able to survive in the world. So, a man named Carl Jung believed, he was a psychologist, spent his whole life trying to understand this. He believed that we're all born with these, he called them archetypes, but we're all born with these images, or how would you call it? These kind of people, not people. Well, I'll tell you what they are, and you'll understand. We're all born with inside of us the warrior. You know, we all have a part of us that's the warrior. Part of us that's the king, the magician, the good mother, the lover, the wanderer, the altruist. You have these parts of ourselves. And what the person suffering from schizophrenia has done is connected with that part of him or herself and put the energy there. So the energy is no longer available to the rational side of the brain, the rational side of the psyche. So I'll just read a little bit what John Weir Perry has to say. It seems that when the psyche cannot progress further into the next steps of experience, into adulthood, when the psyche cannot progress into adulthood with the expectations and the responsibilities of adulthood, so encumbered by a very negative self-image and great fear, especially at times of great crises of ebullient falling in love or hurtful falling into rejection, a change is initiated. Listen to how he says it. He says a change is initiated. Now this isn't something that the person decides to do in the way that we think of deciding. It's not a choice the person makes. That's an initiation that comes from a deeper part of the person, a healthier part of the person, actually. Right? A change is initiated. The person's psychic energy is attracted to an exalted, powerful, capable, but unreal imaginary persona. The king, the magician, the warrior, and leaves the rational part of the psyche stripped of its usual energy and hence in a state of disorganization. This person has had to do that in order to survive, in order to feel safe, powerful, be able to control their life and survive, protect themselves, feel more adequate. So, some more from John Muir Perry. He wrote a book called The Far Side of Madness. The psychotic process habitually puts this power-oriented form of the self through a transformation. The person has gotten in touch with the power part of the psyche. The psychotic process puts this power-oriented form of the self through a transformation that awakens the potentials for relationship and gives them their rightful place in the structure of the personality and in the style of life. So, what John Muir Perry did, he created a treatment program in which people would be able to go through this experience in a safe place with people who affirmed them and related with them and understood them. And if they could do that long enough, that power-oriented part of themselves will begin to relate to other people, and they become less afraid, less terrified, and they'd be able to heal. They'd be able to recover. So this is what, if we want to help people who have come into a psychotic experience, this is what we have to do, which is what the Soteria House did. That's exactly what the Soteria House did. They said, come on in. We're going to help you go through this experience. We're going to be affirming, connected with you, use relationship, and we'll help you go through the experience. We're not going to stop it with drugs. We're not going to put pressure on you to go back. And one time I asked a guy he had worked for 25 years for Fountain House in New York, which is a clubhouse for people diagnosed with schizophrenia. And I asked him, if I gave you $5 million a year for 5 years, what would you do with it? He said, the first thing I do is I put together a terrific sports program, and I have these people playing sports. The second thing I would do is I would have a bunch of Soteria houses. I would have places where people could be, where there wasn't any pressure on them to go back. No pressure to go back to the way you were. No, we're going to help you go forward. What you're experiencing is meaningful. It's about your life.